Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ed Berliner. Thanks for joining us. America Votes 2016 continues. The burn's been felt in Michigan because Bernie Sanders now has a major upset victory. He has beaten Hillary Clinton. The upset win has now been called by all of the media, all the various pundits. Indeed, it was about 1% the last time we checked. We haven't gotten the final numbers in yet, but they are calling it for Bernie Sanders. Now, let's talk about what this means for the left and the right, because maybe now if Donald Trump is going to become the Republican presidential candidate, he now has to be concerned about Bernie Sanders. Oh, but wait, some people say that's not possible. Oh, but wait, anything's possible. All right, let's begin to tie some of these results together here and start talking about where we take it from here. Let's welcome in the former Republican member of the U.S. House of Representatives in the 5th District of Illinois, now president of Flanagan Consulting inside the nefarious Beltway, Michael Patrick Flanagan, joined once again by Payton. She enjoyed a few moments to take it all in, get back to the numbers in the comments here. So let's go ahead and launch it here. All right, Michael, welcome in. Let's go ahead and start with you. Let's start off on the left side of things because, as I said, well, wait a minute now. I'm holding in my hand here. Here is David Wasserman of the Cook Political Report, one of their respected analysts, not trying to disparage him, but he was quoted in USA Today as saying, the outlook for Sanders is bleak. Quote unquote, the Democratic race is fundamentally over at this point. Methinks we have to change that a little, would you not say?
I think you're right. I think Bernie is a much tougher candidate than anyone gives him credit for. And as a Republican and hoping for a Republican victory in November, I would rather run against Hillary than Bernie. And I know there's a lot of people scratching their head now when I said that, but I mean it. Bernie's honest, he's forthcoming, he's genuine, he's self-deprecating, he's 10 times the campaigner she is. And I think he'll be much tougher than she will in the long run, to everyone's surprise. And I hope she puts paid to him, but it looks like he's got a lot of life left.
I asked this question earlier of another guest, and I want to ask you as well, because as somebody who has been in the machine itself, Michael, Hillary Clinton is somebody that you look at. She's a veteran politician. She's got all these people behind her. She's got million-dollar consultants sitting there. She's got the former president of the United States who's working on her side, all telling her, here's what you need to do. Here's how you need to do it. Here's how you need to say it. Here's what you can do to win. And it still seems to me and so many others that she has failed miserably at this, that either she's getting horrible advice and she's not smart enough to listen to it, or she's not smart enough to take that advice and basically say, yeah, we can beat this guy. It's almost like, and I'm going to use the sports metaphor again, Mike, when you hear somebody coming up behind you, it's those footsteps, and you kind of knee-jerk just a little bit, and you go, oh, wait, somebody's there. That's what it seems like sometimes with her. Shouldn't she be doing better?
You can get the best advice available, and goodness knows she has it. But if you're a horrible campaigner, you're a horrible campaigner. I can have the best batting coach in the world tell me how to swing for the fences, and I'll still strike out every time. It's your innate capacity, and she has no capacity to campaign. She's an ideologue. Her husband is the politician. And I tell you, beating her in November is going to be a whole lot easier than beating Bernie, because he actually is a politician, will be good at it on the trail.
Bree, let's dig into that a little bit with regard to Hillary Clinton and the horrible campaigner. Look, I think there's a lot of people who would look at campaigns who know how to put them together who would say that's exactly right. Because every time I talk to people about a Hillary Clinton versus a Bernie Sanders, they say, yeah, look, we know there's a good chance she may go to jail. And she's not warm. They don't trust her. They think everything coming out of her mouth is nothing more than inside Washington bull excrement. And they look at Bernie Sanders and they say, hey, wait a minute, this guy's a little different here. Yeah, he may say the wrong thing about white people being poor every now and then. He may talk about kids getting off his lawn. Maybe he talks about socialism. But I can trust this guy. Isn't that really what it comes down to, Bree?
I think you're right. And I think the fact that Hillary Clinton isn't doing better than she is really just shows how unelectable that she is this time around. And I think that people are just really sick and tired of her and seeing all these repeated mistakes that she keeps doing and all of these kind of really almost criminal or currently being investigated as criminal activity. And she's kind of getting away with it, right? So I think they're just really tired of seeing her continually do this. And I think they're just really there's Clinton fatigue, I think definitely. And I think we also have to keep in mind that this is a woman who hasn't driven herself since 1996. And the reason she got her personal emails pushed to her BlackBerry in the first place instead of using the official State Department email is because she didn't know how to work her email on her computer. So I think we have to remember that this is a woman who is incompetent. And it probably shouldn't be in the race for the White House in the first place. And I think a lot of voters are seeing that.
Is that just it? And Bree, I'll tell you, that's a perfect word because not a lot of people use that. Incompetent. That would seem to be the word that needs to be the crux of a Bernie Sanders campaign from here on out, is to hammer away at that, because you've seen it, you hear it. People are starting to understand that, aren't they? Even hardcore Democrats are starting to get it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think the fact that Bernie Sanders is doing so well just really reflects how sick and tired people are of Hillary Clinton, and that they're starting to kind of see her for who she really is, right? Even women can't stand her at all, which is supposed to be her target demographic. So I think in all accounts, looking at how she's done, how she's performed so far, I think she really is done as a candidate in terms of people liking her and wanting to see her in the White House, right? I think the people who are voting for her are just kind of like, well, okay, you know, it's her turn, I guess, right? It's like she's almost like the inevitable candidate, and that's kind of the vote I think that she's garnering. It's not
she certainly was the inevitable candidate. Like about a year ago at this time, everybody was saying, you know, just grab out the coronation here because she's got to be it. I mean, wait a minute. Let's be very honest here. If you and I are talking, and Michael, I'll bet you'll back me up on this as well. A year ago when we're talking, every pundit, every commentator, everybody said Hillary Clinton is the candidate. Stop. Don't go any farther. Don't hold any campaigns. Don't worry about it. She's got this locked up. So Bree, fair to say that the Democratic establishment themselves, they made the huge mistake here. They tried to cover this up. They're just as much, if Hillary Clinton does not get elected, they're just as much to blame as she is because they trusted this woman. They screwed up.
Sure, definitely. And, you know, when you look at the base between the two different candidates, Bernie gets a lot of youth votes, obviously. And he gets all those young voters because they're excited about him and because he represents something new and something fresh, right? Like Hillary Clinton's demographic tends to be older, tends to be not so exciting, I guess. So, you know, I think that really shows the kind of persona that they're exuding going forward.
Michael, let's look at that just a little bit here, because the Democratic Party, every time I hear a lot of the rhetoric, is always, we're the party of the young here. We have young people in here. These are people who are going to take us to the next generation. It seems to me in this, they blew it hardcore here because they basically put somebody in here that was nothing more than old school, still had the same old dogma going on from the Clinton years, basically couldn't be trusted, had a lot of baggage sitting here. Look, we spend a tremendous amount of time, Michael, talking about how the Republican hierarchy right now has made huge mistakes and how they are paying for it. Is it not fair to say, let's look at the other side? The left has made massive mistakes here. They're paying for it now. Call them on it as well.
That's a great observation, and it's true. Both parties have made huge mistakes, but because the Republicans have less of a hive mentality, it's less of a machine politics with us, it's less of an organization, our mistakes came clearer earlier, and we were able to shed ourselves of the problems of the past and move on to something else, scary though it is. The Democrats are going to take longer to find that out because they really are a team mentality, and they're going to find out that the leader of their team is not what they thought it was, and it might be too late for them, which is why I'm praying for a Hillary nomination, because when they find that out, it will be too late.
But are we basically getting a little bit caught up in all the fervor here, Michael? I only got about 40 seconds left here, but yeah, Bernie Sanders wins Michigan, but maybe we got to back up a little bit here. Are we just getting all caught up in this, and maybe Hillary's still inevitable?
I think I served with Bernie Sanders in the Congress. I will tell you, Bernie is downright, forthright, upright, square. He's honest, he's forthcoming, he'll tell you what he has. He can be a little self-deprecating, and he's incredibly sincere. Bernie is very considerable on the campaign trail, and I would not underestimate him at any point. And if he shows sparks of life here and there, and I were on Team Hillary, I would be afraid.
Bree, 10 seconds. Do you think any Republicans who really hate Donald Trump would cross over and vote for Bernie if he were the candidate?
Oh, I know,
No,
I would.
Not at all.
So I think there's definitely a lot of other people who feel the same way, too.
Look out. The burn is moving across the country, and he is gaining steam after Michigan. Bree Payton, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is always a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you. We will see you soon on the show. Michael Patrick Flanagan, stand by because we're going to take a break, come back, and you and I are going to tear into what happened on the right tonight. What did happen was Donald Trump got 2 more states. Still waiting for some numbers from Idaho, but Trump will tell you you can have a steak and some champagne with him, my friends, because we're celebrating. America Votes continues.